Okay, here's example 2 with finding the phase shift. So here we have y equals 7/2 times the sine of the quantity negative 4x minus pi, and then minus 1. Okay, so again, when we did example 1 in the previous video, we talked about these here. So if you want to know more about this type of thing here, and that's the Greek letter phi. We introduced that in the previous video. I think that's when we introduced it, and I don't think we talked about it before. But anyway, so here we have a sine omega x minus phi plus b. So that's what's going on here. We have a sine. Now, it actually does not matter, okay? The phase shift does not change whether it's sine or cosine. Okay, sine or cosine, it's irrelevant. A is completely irrelevant. B is completely irrelevant. Okay, the only thing that matters for phase shift, it's omega and phi. Okay, so now we just have to identify what's omega, what's phi. So it's blah, 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 omega x minus phi. So we already have it in that form here, that's good. So this is omega x minus phi. Okay. So we just identify what is omega. Omega is negative 4, right? What's phi? Phi is just plain old pi. Okay, be very careful with the minus signs here. So here, in general, it's omega x minus phi. Okay, so the minus sign is already there. Okay, so it's minus phi, and whatever we're subtracting, that's what phi is. Okay, it's omega x minus phi. Okay, blah, 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 x minus pi. Okay, so that means phi is just pi. Okay, because it's... here they match up like this. Omega is negative 4, x is just x, the minus sign matches up with that, that's great, and then what's left over is phi is just pi. Okay? A lot of Greek letters flying around all over the place here. Okay, so then what about the phase shift? Remember the phase shift, we also talked about that in the last video, that's when we defined it and introduced it. The phase shift equals, in general, phi over omega. Okay? No absolute values on omega. Okay, be careful. We know the period. Okay, we talked about period in a few videos. Period is 2 pi over absolute value of omega, right? But phase shift has no absolute values. Okay, so be careful. Period has absolute values because it always has to be positive. But phase shift is just a horizontal shift to the right or to the left, so it could be positive or negative. What is phi? Phi is just pi. Omega is negative 4. And really, that's our answer. It's kind of weird to write it like that, so maybe we can just say equals negative pi over 4. Okay. And then that's our answer here. Phase shift equals negative pi over 4. So abbreviating phase because I guess those 3 extra letters really make it more difficult. So anyway, phase shift is negative pi over 4. So what would happen if we did put absolute values on omega? Well, then we would have absolute values here. And since omega is negative 4, we'd have absolute values here. The negative 4 would become a positive 4, and we would end up with positive pi over 4 for our answer, which is completely, totally incorrect. Okay, so we want to be very, very, very careful. The phase shift in this case really is negative pi over 4. Okay, so just be careful when you identify what's omega, what's phi. Just be very careful about that. Okay, so we'll do some more examples coming up in the next video. Oh, and again, the answer here was phase shift is negative pi over 4 for example 2.